What's the word, y'all? It's your host, Rain Savannah of the Real Queens Reign podcast. Welcome to the first edition of the podcast. I have a very special guest today. She is my coach, my mentor. She is just an amazing woman all around. I would like to welcome Coach Delpha Samuels.
Hello. Hi.
First of all, welcome to the show. I'm very excited to have you on today. So, just to get started, can you tell the viewers a little bit about you and your company and what it is that you do?
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I am Coach Delpha. I am the owner of the Queen's Academy, which consists of pageantry, etiquette, and also life coaching. I own the Plus America pageant, which Rain is one of my queens. So I'm so excited to be here today. I'm also an actress. If you all are into Tubi, I know Tubi is like the new thing popping right now. I do have a film that is on Tubi called Bay Night. So if that is your thing, go ahead and watch it. But above all, I just love people. I love to give back and just pour into young women. If you know me, that's who I am. That's what I do.
Amazing, amazing. So, just to start off, I'd like to ask you, how do you feel that the plus size pageant and the different things that these ladies do helps us change the social standard when it comes to plus size women and young women?
Wow. Oh my goodness. There's so much I could say. First, I would say is it just shifts the perspective and what the world puts out there about plus size women. Usually people think, plus size women don't have style. They're, usually not the best looking or whatever it is that society has painted about a plus size woman, that plus size women can't be in pageants. They can't be queens. So one of the things that I love about Florida Plus America is that I am shifting the way people see plus size women. I'm shifting the way even plus size women see themselves, because a lot of women that are plus size have, never competed in pageants or never even thought that this was something that they could do. So for me, I think that it is showing people who plus size women really are, and just the fact that they are just like every other woman. I also think for young women, it is giving a place of where they belong, confidence, and just a space to be who they really are.
Amazing. I can say definitely when it came to me doing the pageant, it was definitely a confidence builder. So, how do you feel about pageants and young queens staying true to who they are throughout the process?
Oh, I think that when a queen is truly themselves, that is when you can really, really do well. That is when you really make your mark. I always say that people can't beat you being you. When you are your authentic self, that is when you are your best self, when you put your best self out there. So I always say, be true to who you are. If you know red is not your color, that you feel great in yellow, or pink is what makes, you shine, then go with that. People feel like, oh, I gotta change my hair, or my hair needs to be straight like everyone's, or I can't wear natural hair. I have to wear this because everybody's doing this. And, for me as a coach and as a pageant director, I never want a woman to feel like she's completely lost herself because she's in a pageant. I want every woman to be able to look at themselves and see an even better version of who they are. So for me, it's really important to stay true to yourself if you want those type of results.
Great. Do you feel that personal style influences your chances of winning?
I do think personal style does influence your chances of winning. And I think that's whatever style that works for you. Because you can see a girl walk on stage and she has, the most expensive gown. And then there's a girl that went to Macy's or even went to Ross and got a gown and made this gown her own, added extra bling, added a train, did all these things to make it hers, and come out there and she basically spent about 100 and something dollars next to someone that spent hundreds of dollars and is able to walk away with the crown. So when I think of personal style, I think of something that is unique and your own. And when you're in your own personal look, it will reflect who you are as a person. So I do think it definitely plays a part in, you know, you winning, because when you feel your best, you release your best.
Amazing. So, when working in the industry that you work in, whether it's acting or pageantry or coaching, do you see a difference in the confidence between the plus size pageant young ladies that you're working with or the normal pageants that you do?
So tell you the truth, you would think that there would be this huge difference, but there isn't. I find that, all of the women have times where they feel like, they may not be good enough, where they feel like, oh my God, all these other girls are so gorgeous. I don't think I stand a chance, or I don't like my wardrobe. I don't like the way my hair turned out. I don't like my pictures, or this girl is so beautiful. It's amazing, because you would think that these two women, plus size, and women that are petite, are so different, but we're really the same, and all women have the same struggles and feel the same way. When I start to have those conversations, how are you feeling about the competition, how are you feeling, the first thing is was, I don't know if I like my wardrobe, I don't know if I did this and that, I may not feel. It's amazing, but I see so many similarities, and that's what I love about my role, and about how God has allowed me to work on both sides. Because some directors, of course, would stay with only petite women, and some directors are only in the plus size world. But for me, I get an opportunity to be on both ends. I like to present myself as a coach that is for every woman, not exclusive to plus size, not exclusive to petite women, but for any woman that feels that she wants to compete. I truly feel like that I'm the coach that can unlock the queen that's in her.
Yes. Having that ability is very versatile, and being able to do that and be around so many different types of women and young women is a gift for sure.
Thank
On the
you.
topic of wardrobe, are there any plus size fashion tips or even regular fashion tips that you have for young girls?
Whew, oh my goodness. I would definitely say that when you're shopping, especially for gown and interview, because those are the areas that are judged. Throughout pageant week, of course you want to present yourself well, you want to look nice, but those outfits aren't judged. But when you're on stage, those outfits, you have to make sure that they're tailored to you, that they fit you right, that they work for your body. And this isn't just for plus size, this is for petite and plus size women. Just because a woman is skinny doesn't mean she has the best body. Some skinny women don't have the best shape, and that, I'm just being realistic. So you have to make sure that what you choose works for your body. With gown, you have to make sure that when you're walking, that you're not uncomfortable, and if you got to turn, that you don't feel awkward, and the color works for your skin, works for the stage and the type of lighting. You always also want to make sure in interview that your outfit isn't too short to where you feel uncomfortable if you have to sit. All those things play a big part. And what I find most to be the most helpful tip when it comes to wardrobe is to make sure whatever outfits you choose, that you feel comfortable in them, because when you're comfortable, then you will be confident in them.
On the subject of confidence, if there was a young girl out there who always saw herself competing in pageants but never felt like she had the confidence to do so, are there any confidence building tips that you have or things that you've seen throughout the industry?
The first step that I like to take when I'm coaching women to build their confidence is to get them comfortable with being the woman that God has created them to be. I feel like we live in a time where there is so much comparisons on social media, so much, you have to look like this, and this person looks like this, and this person is this, and then it creates just a mindset that I have to be this, otherwise I'm not going to look good, I have to do this, and it has to be this, and then that creates a lack of confidence. So the first thing I like to do is get women to a place that they are confident in who God has created them to be, and then to build from there to create a better version of who they already are, to bring out all the hidden talents and the gifts, and just that inner thing that every woman has. And that really creates confidence. When you feel good about yourself, when you're not depending on someone else to say, yes, you look good or you look great, but you feel that you look good. You feel that you look great. There's a different person that shows up when you show up and you are not waiting for someone else to validate you, but you've already validated yourself. So for me, that is the number one thing that I focus on with confidence. Just getting a woman to be confident in who she is, who God has created her to be.
While we're talking about social media is such a big part of being a young woman now. Do you feel that the social constructs that are put on us and the false body image, do you feel that that does take a hit on who you are? And can it alter who you see yourself as?
I definitely believe that what social media has put out there, especially when it comes to body and body shaming and different things, that it does. It really affects a lot of women. I've had some women come to me and they say to me, I've never, worn something this color or this tight because I feel like I look so big, or I feel like I look too small, or, you know, even now people are more so leaning towards girls that have curves and have butts. And, some of the skinny women that I coach are like, I'm so flat, I'm like a board and da da da. And, it just creates this space that everyone feels like they have to fit in and they have to look like. So I would definitely say yes, social media does play a very big role in that.
As an up and coming actor and doing the things that you're doing now in this acting space, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you prepared yourself for that role and what was going into that?
Oh my goodness, Bay Night, the movie Bay Night, first of all, it's one of the bigger roles that I can say that I have. I've been in a lot of projects, but Bay Night, I'm one of the leading characters in this film. So I had so much screen time. My lines, oh my goodness, I had so much lines. So for me, I felt as if the first thing I needed to do was know my lines. So I studied the script, really analyze. A lot of directors, when they have writers write, they don't just write words, they write a description of how the person was looking, what was the person's actions. So I studied a lot of what the director wrote, for each scene, of what his expectation of my acting was. Also, I worked with an acting coach. My acting coach I've been working with for over 10 years now. We worked on really bringing the character to life, me becoming this character. So, those were two things that I definitely feel like helped me to prepare, learning my lines, learning the scenes, what to expect, what I should be doing in each scene, and then also bringing the character to life and putting that together. I actually ended up winning Best Actress, Best Overall Actor, in the project, because I was so persistent. I always knew my lines. Even, a lot of times in movies, you have to cut and keep going, then cut. I was so persistent with my facial expressions and the way I walked in, or I sat, or my tone, that it was very easy to cut and to put things together when they were editing. So the director was like, wow, you really did an amazing job with just how well you brought your character to life. So that is how I prepared, for this project. It was definitely a very fun movie. Very exciting, a lot of drama. If you're into drama movies, there was a lot of drama, and everyone is kind of just waiting for part two. But we're seeing how it goes. It was recently released on Tubi, so we're just seeing what's next.
Amazing. So, on the topics of being persistent, um, when it came to acting and being a coach all at the same time, how did you balance owning multiple businesses and being an actor and balancing it all while still having a family?
Oh my goodness. Well, the first thing, when it comes to being a wife and a mom, those are two hats that I don't ever turn off. Some of my hats, I put them on, I take them off when it's necessary, but I don't ever take off the hat of wife or the hat of mom. I make sure that my family feels like they have my attention and that I'm present, because sometimes you're there, but you're not present. I make sure that I'm present with them. Also, for balancing so many different roles, one of the things that I learned after so many years is that it's important to prioritize. So if I have deadlines, for instance, we had deadlines to meet to shoot all of the scenes because we had a deadline to turn in the project because of our screening, at the theater, we had a premiere. So at one season, in those months, my focus was shooting and getting the project done. I was working on the pageant, I was working on coaching, working on mentorship, but my full focus was there. Then once that was done, took a break, went into, now I need to put the pageant production together. I need to get the boot camp done. I need to meet these deadlines. Then I went on to Queen's Academy, with which I had a lot of queens, all like 10 queens actually competing at one time at national pageants, plus the Plus America queens went to Plus America the week before. So it was like a month of me just solely coaching and prepping for pageantry. So I've learned to place things by priority of, if there's a deadline, something I need to do. And my family comes along with me for the ride. My husband is at mostly everything that I do. So is my son. My husband is very involved in the Florida Plus America pageant with me. And even with me as an actress, he's been on set with me, and just, a lot of times I read roles and, go over my character with him and ask him, what does he think? How did he think I did? Those, I really include him and my son in what I do. And I think sometimes that's what becomes complicated and why people can't balance, because they cut their families out of what they're doing. My family is very much involved and included in what I do. So it's been very much a blessing to be able to have them along the journey. And I think it's really helped me with balancing everything.
Now, we started talking about my fellow queens going to nationals. Is there a teen girl success story from any of the pageants that you've directed that just where you saw a queen grow in confidence and grow in self-love?
Wow. I would definitely say my Miss Teen winner. She's actually my first nationals winner, even at Plus America. This is my second year, but last year I didn't have any of my queens win. They all did well and were in the top. But Morgan's journey was very inspiring to me. I didn't know if she would win or not at state, simply because when I first met her, she was very emotional. She's told her story several times about dealing with sexual abuse, and she talks about it so much. But she spoke about it to me on the phone our very first meeting, and I remember saying, "Wow, she's very strong." But this story is so much. I'm wondering, will she be able to move forward, and will this affect her in a negative way? Will this hinder her, because this thing was very fresh, very new, and going on? So it was just kind of me like, okay, I don't know. I'm just going to see what happens, how it goes. But I'm, of course, there for whichever one of my queens wins. We're going to have a blast. And to my, to my surprise, especially for how young Morgan is, she really tackled her platform. She really tackled what she's gone through and faced it head on, and went to nationals. And she hasn't really talked about it a lot, but she probably will. But after her interview at nationals, she was in tears, like crying, and everybody was saying she had this breakdown, and people didn't know that the tears were because she felt like it was a victory for her, because she had shared her story in such a powerful way and at a national level, that she was just very proud of herself, that she cried. And on stage, her on stage question, she talked about facing domestic abuse, I mean not domestic, sexual abuse, and how she would help a friend. And so just watching that play out was like, wow. So if I had to choose one of my queens, I would definitely say Morgan, just by her story and what she experienced, and just how God allowed everything to fall into place, and she ended up winning was very amazing to watch.
Yes, Morgan is such a beautiful person in and out, and so strong from what she's been through. I'm so proud of her
Yeah.
for having so much perseverance.
Yes.
It's definitely an inspiration to young girls, and we'll have her on here one of these days
Yes,
and talk
definitely.
about her story. So I'm very proud of all of my pageant sisters.
Yes, me too. I'm very, they had a historical performance. Each one of them made it, to the top five, and I couldn't be more proud of them because, there were many girls that were amazing, equally beautiful, did well, looked well, that did not make it to the top, and each one of them made it. And I, of course, I feel like they were all deserving of the crown. To see it was phenomenal the entire week. Just beautiful on stage, strong. The same thing, Penny, just strong, amazing on stage. Jeriel, oh my gosh, and she sung, and I mean, Jeriel tore the house down. So between Tasia, Penny, and Jeriel and Morgan, I was just extremely proud of how strong they all were, how well they did. And then Muzani, my baby, came in there and just swept everything. I mean, she showed up ready, okay? So, I mean, when I talk about them, I can't speak about one without the other because they all really worked hard and did very well.
Yes, Florida showed up and showed out this year. They
Yes,
represented us perfectly. I was like, okay, y'all.
yes, yes.
Now, while we're talking about talent and the extras competitions, do you feel that those add extra points, and does that help the judges make a better decision?
Sometimes people think it does, but I realize that it doesn't, at nationals, because simply the judges are different. Even state, the judges are different from optionals. And, sometimes it works out to where the person that did everything does win because they just pushed so much and they were so involved in the competition in every way that it sometimes does help. But I can't say that it definitely makes the person win or it doesn't make them win because I see some people that didn't compete in anything and walk out as an elite winner at nationals, was an elite winner. So even with Tasia, she won, two optional categories. Morgan didn't win any. So I felt like Tasia, of course, based on her performance and everything, would have a great chance to win because of, her winning. But, sometimes it just doesn't work out like that. So it's like you really just can't tell what's going to happen. But I do think it's great. And it also helps you to get more comfortable and confident on stage when you're in optionals because it's like you get out there, you get through the nerves, and it just gets you more stage time. So I don't think it definitely makes you win, but I think it makes you feel better and gives you a better experience.
As a young teen who competed and knows a couple of other teens who competed as well in different pageants, for a second time queen who's gonna try again, who wants to try again, do you have any tips for regaining that confidence and learning that you don't have to be perfect to try again?
Oh my goodness, that is such a great question. I definitely can speak even from my experience. My last title that I won was Mrs. Florida International. And this was a title that I just really wanted to win this title. Number one, God showed me myself in a dream winning. And so I thought I was going to go in there in the first year. I was just going to win. And I didn't win. And I was like, wait. And I was second runner up. So I'm like, what? How did I win? So I go back the second year and I didn't win again. I'm like, no, God, I'm done. My whole confidence, everything is broken. Then I was afraid. And I had to allow my desire to be greater than my fear. And that's what pushed me and got my confidence back up. So for me, for any teen and anyone that has competed and didn't win, I would always say, if you know in your heart that this is for you, you never give up. You come back, you evolve, you come back greater, and you come back stronger. Because one thing that I realize is that everything is in God's timing. And when you when it's your time, everything will be right. Everything will be perfect for you, and for me watching you, I was so inspired because I just feel like a lot of queens would have been like, this is it. I'm not gonna come. And and you still went out there and you gave it your all. It was really inspiring to watch, just that type of strength that you had. And so I feel like any queen watching or any queen that would want to, if you could come out there after something like that, injuring yourself, that's a strength that is just undeniable, and a confidence that you have that is evident, like that's next level type of confidence, like honestly, like next level type of confidence. And it's really amazing.
Okay. Now, as the fashionable woman that you are there any fashion trends or beauty trends right now that you are really liking and some that you are just really not feeling?
So right now, fashion trend wise, I am obsessed with feathers. Of course, I love bling, but I'm into this feathers and bling mixture trend. Right now, it is just my thing. I love to see people in feathers and bling, and also stockings. A lot of people are wearing colored stockings with outfits. Love, love that. Right now, as far as trends, things that are in that I don't like, I can't really say that there's anything that I don't like because I just love fashion. Some fashion trends I think aren't for me, but I still love them and think that they are, a reflection of who a person really is. I always look at a person's outfit and it kind of gives me an idea of their personality. And that's just me looking from a fashion eye, because of course I went to school for fashion design and fashion is my first passion. But as far as trends, definitely feathers and bling is my thing right now.
As pageant girlies, we love a crazy outfit, a whole bunch of colors and patterns. But what are some fashion pageant do's and don'ts when it comes to putting together this avant-garde outfit?
Oh my goodness. I would definitely say dues. You can never have enough bling. You can never have enough color. You can never be too over the top. I think that when you're picking your pageant wardrobe or picking your wardrobe, go as big as you want, be as grand as you want. And then sometimes you have to like get there and see, okay, maybe this is this for this is for that, this is for that. And that kind of like helps you to like smooth things out. But uh, I would definitely say big is always better when it comes to trends.
So that was one of my biggest problems when trying to figure out, okay, how do I want to go with this? Was thinking I don't want to do too much, but I don't want to do too little. And then being a first time pageant and competing for the first time, I was like, okay, I need to tone it up a little bit. So I'm really loving the pageantry thing just
Right.
because the bling is obviously, from what I have on today, bling is my thing. All right. So as the pageant moves forward and it's growing, how do you see it becoming better for teens to compete and for it to have more shine?
I feel for this year, especially vision wise, I want to create more of a sisterhood, especially for, girls that, even if they're not interested in pageantry. Because for me, as a coach, I coach in pageantry, yes, but I'm also a mentor. So I have girls that are in Queen's Academy that have never competed, that I just coach them in a personal place. So I want to create a sisterhood, whether you're in the pageant, you're not in the pageant, but you're just looking for a space for, teens to connect, teens that are like-minded, a safe place. For me, I think that will create a better experience, that will create a more of a buzz, and just getting other teens to say, you know what, this is something I want to be a part of, because it's a sisterhood. Because of course, with pageantry, it's 1 year sometimes, especially if you don't decide to compete again. Um, you want to have something after pageantry, something after your crown. What I realize sometimes is that most girls, once they give their crown up, it's like, oh my God, I'm not a queen anymore. No, you are forever a queen, whether you had a sash or a crown or not. you are already a queen. So that's like the biggest thing for me, not just with my teens, but even with the babies that we have, just getting that mindset that whether you have a crown on, whether you don't, you are still a queen. You are still royalty. You are still amazing. And that's what I want to create with the sisterhood, with the group of women and with creating the group of teens and, young girls also together just to create that space. You hear about a lot of sisterhoods and different things, and they're not what they paint themselves to be. It's catty. Everyone doesn't like each other. For me, I want to be more social, brunch and going out to dinner and, going to the movies together, having workshops. I want it to really go beyond just the surface of pageantry and to really create a sisterhood for women that are queens, not because they have a crown on, but because of who they are in the inside.
Yes, and that's why I wanted to have you on today, was because that was my mission for this podcast and just for the community in general. Was this is a safe space and this is a family for young girls to come when they're not at their most confident. And it's for me to be real and to show that life is not perfect. You're not going to be confident every day, but it's about knowing that you are a real queen and that you will reign. And that is my purpose, and that's what I was set here to do. So that is why it was so important for me to have you be my first guest, was because you were one of the first people who made me realize what I was supposed to do here.
Amen to that. I'm so honored and just grateful, that is the space that, God has allowed me to be in your life. And, I always say this, it's sometimes it starts with pageantry, but God has a plan that's so much bigger and goes so much beyond. For me, with even my women's ministry, which is unlocking the queen within, it's not about pageantry in my women's ministry. It's more about building the woman and really getting women to walk in their purpose and whatever that is that God has put them here to do. So, it's just such an honor to hear you say that and just to be your first guest on your podcast. And I just pray that it is just such a blessing to, queens all over the world that, inspire to do great things, that they'll see this podcast and, it'll be an inspiration to them in whatever area that they need it to be.
Yes, I really, really appreciate you being on. It has meant a lot to me, and I hope it's helped some young girls out there maybe want to be in a pageant, maybe take some of these fashion tips. There's nothing wrong with being a little glittery, but I really appreciate you. I really, really do.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such an honor.
It's been an amazing conversation. Everybody, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. This was the first episode of the Real Queens Reign podcast. Stay tuned for the next episodes. We're going to cover topics on mental health, on fashion, on makeup tips, on some social media tips, and some different hobbies to get you moving. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I love everybody. And as it's clear, Real Queens Reign.